Hey guys, Second here bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we're going to be taking a look at the awakening for the TEQ NAMEKIANS from Universe 6. I always forget their names. It's, is it Sayanel and Purina? Now these guys are an interesting unit because they very much are built around being run with Universe 6 or Namekian allies, and the problem is, of course, that Namekians is a team that doesn't really exist. I mean, with the new slug, you can run a build that is like all Namekians, technically, because obviously Demonic Power is essentially all Namekians, right? Like, these guys should be on it as well, yeah. So all Namekians are in Demonic Power. I wasn't sure for a second then if they were going to pull a fast one and be like, only the Universe 7 Namekians are on Demonic Power, but yeah, they are on there. However, they only have two 200% leaders, which is the Int Androids with the Tournament Participants leader skill, and then Kale. And obviously the Kale team, which is actually what we're going to run here, is a bit outdated at this point. But the TOP androids interfere with part of their passive, which we'll see here. So they have a Namekian's leader skill. Interestingly, for a free-to-play unit, it's 4 key and 66%, whereas normally pre-EZA characters have like a 50% leader skill. Their super attack, they raise attack and defense for 1 turn, do supreme damage to the enemy, and they raise allies' attack by 30% for 1 turn. And then their passive skill, key 1, attack and defense 50% per Universe 6 or Namekians ally on the team, depending on which category has more members. So you don't get any bonus for having a Universe 6 Namekian unit, which there aren't any apart from them anyway. But like if you had their unawakened version, you don't get an extra buff because it's the one that has the most. So obviously on this team, it's going to be all Universe 6, which is, it's not itself excluded, so it does count them. So it'll be 7. So 350% attack and defense and 7 key, which is pretty good. Then they get an additional attack and defense 100% when attacking. They launch an additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super when there's another Universe 6 ally in the same turn. They recover 10% HP at the end of the turn when there's another Namekian ally in the same turn. And they guard all attacks when all allies in the same turn are Universe 6 or Namekians. So that's the problem. If you try and use them on any other team, like if you wanted to use them on the Slug team and them not be getting the 200% lead, they'd get a 170 lead from him. But then they're not going to have at any point a full Namekians or Universe 6 rotation. So they're not going to have guard. All they'll have is their recovers HP at the end of the turn. And then, of course, you know, they're not going to get the extra super. So this is probably the thing that immediately stands out to me about these guys that seems really unfortunate, is that, like, this is the team that they're designed to be run on, really. But, like, they came out now when this team is very much outdated. I'm going to try putting them in slot 1 here, because I don't want... We know from the showcase we did earlier, can't really put Hit in slot 1. And then Vados is just here for some support. So we'll go ahead and do this. See how well they can tank in slot 1 here. And of course they're going to immediately get super attacked. Great. So I don't know how much this is going to do. But I mean, they have guard, but 240k. Okay. And then the tank normal's 33. Well, bearing in mind they get 100% on super. So realistically they would tank the normals for double-digit damage. Unfortunate that we had to get immediately slot 1 super attacked. And then our additional, of course, doesn't become a super. And then we have hit. So, I mean, man, these guys... I was hoping that they would be kind of good. But, like, going off what we can see... I mean, it's only 1 turn. And, like I say, they're not necessarily a unit that you're going to be wanting to put in slot 1 most of the time. Because they are getting so much extra, like, defense on super. But, like, man... Hitting for fairly low numbers. The guard is nice, obviously, but you are required to run a full Universe 6 team in order to get it. They can't go slot 1, so this is really awkward. In fact, I'm probably just going to have to Senzu Bean here just so we don't die. I usually bring the Senzu Bean on this run, on this stage, just so we can sort out the ceiling and rotation locking if it interferes with the showcase unit. But, oh, good work. Really, Khalifa? 2 for 2? On a full Universe 6 team? Come on. Obviously, they're not all Universe 6 Peppy gals, so she doesn't have the build where she has, like, the full, basically 100% chance to dodge, but even so. Really? Okay, finally. We get a dodge, and then she dodges the super, which I guess is the most important part. But But yeah, that's the problem with these guys, is their kit is all over the place. So it's like they need a Universe 6 ally to get an additional attack, which might not even be a super. Then they need a Namekian ally to get the heal, and it's not very easy to have both of those on the same team build. I mean, it's impossible if you want the 100% them to actually have a 200% lead, or at least I guess if both of those units, right? Because I guess on a team where they're getting a 200% lead, who else could we run? The TOP androids, I guess you can run the int Piccolo that obviously got his easy A today. But then you just have to make sure, like if you're running double TOP androids, even if you're keeping one of them on rotation to keep them away from these guys, there's still going to be one floating. So they're still going to end up with a rotation where not all of the allies on the turn are Universe 6 or Namekians. So they've got a lot of restrictions in their kit that make them really difficult to run in a lot of these events. And yeah, Kale's not really a slot 1 unit either. So I mean, this I should have kept. I'm not sure what their first turn was, but we really needed like Bota Magetta in slot 1. We literally just managed to survive the turn. I mean, this just shows you, like, this is the team really to run them on the Universe 6 team, but this team sucks now. Like, it's very difficult to run, and also be able to run like rotation partners for them to keep them on main rotation, which I mean, I guess you wouldn't do. Like if you needed to use a Universe 6 team for something, like if they added a mission to a certain event, then you could throw these guys on the team, but I would imagine you're probably just floating them off and using them as like the random extra 6th unit on the team. Because as we can see here, like they're not a unit that you can necessarily rely on. And then 4.5 million attack with like, they've got like 4 links active. And there's the additional, which again is only a normal. And then the hidden potential additional, only a normal. I mean, they are tanking the normal attacks for double digits, which is okay. That's like the bare minimum of what we would expect, right? Like if we're going into this event, especially considering this event is not particularly difficult now in the grand scheme of things. Like if we were going into this event and they weren't tanking the normals for double digits, then that would be absolutely abysmal. But definitely not in a good spot, really, are they? So we can get the Vados heal here, right? Vados heals. Yeah. So Vados heals, although it's not a lot. Transform used, so now you can go slot 1, although typically we can't pick up any of the AGL orbs. God, what a terrible rotation for orbs and everything this was. So we'll do this. Kale, yeah, tank's okay now that she's transformed. Once she's transformed, she can go slot 1. Kale's one of those units that always had so much potential, but then they never did anything to like actually help her out. And then by the time they finally started dropping Universe 6 buffs, like so much time had passed that it just didn't really help anymore. Starts the super, which is nice. But yeah, the Universe 6 team, because again, like there are only 200% teams, are this team and the TOP androids. But if you run the androids, you're going to mess up their passive where they get guard, which realistically, looking at like everything they're doing, them having guard is like the best part about the card. So if you're not running a full Universe 6 on a Namekians rotation and they're not getting the guard, then what are they doing? They're doing like a 4.5 million attack stat, tanking normals hopefully, because bear in mind again, like this is not one of the tougher events, so we would obviously very much hope that they're tanking normals against this event. But I think these guys share a couple of decent links with you. Yeah, Tough as Nails is a interesting one. Gives us 20% defense and 5% damage reduction. So that's nice. So I guess we could do... Grab those. Grab those. And then... I guess we can just grab these for now and not transform Kale, because we'll end up with a double Kale rotation because of the way I've floated the units here. But yeah, I mean... I know they're a free-to-play unit, but I mean, we did the Hit showcase first, and whilst Hit isn't crazy, I feel like he's probably better than they are. But bear in mind that, like, yesterday, we got the Cooler and Freezer, and for a free-to-play unit, that unit is really, really good. And for these guys, I guess on JP, they technically did Awaken, like, what was it, like 4 months ago or something? Whereas, of course, Freezer and Cooler came out yesterday for both versions of the game. So technically, these guys did come out way before Freezer and Cooler. I suppose that's the other thing we kind of have to look at, these free-to-play Universe 6 Awakenings, through that lens of, like, they've only just come to global, but the units are actually quite old. So even comparing them to free-to-play units that have come out in, like, the last month or so, we would probably expect those units to be better than the Universe 6 Awakenings, because at the end of the day, they are just free-to-play TURs. And there's Kale getting blasted by a super from Boo Tanks. We didn't actually even finish the first phase. Think about how easy that event is now, and we didn't even finish the first phase. I can't believe I link leveled these guys just for the sake of actually doing the Max Links showcase. I mean, the art's cool. I kind of like the idea as well, right? Because it's like they're from a universe where... well, it's obviously Universe 6, but they're from a universe where all of the Namekians basically fused into those two as a sort of last-ditch effort to save their own universe, which is kind of crazy but kind of awesome. I think there was I remember before it got bad, I don't know if it's still going now, and I don't know how like weird or what it's doing nowadays, but there was a Dragon Ball fan manga that I read ages ago that had like one really powerful Namekian from another universe, and that was his whole deal, that like every single Namekian from that universe had like fused with him to make him like super powerful. So the idea of them is cool. It's just really weird because like when you think of the Universe 6 team, it's all like the Kale and Khaliflas and Keflas and stuff like that, and then you throw these guys on there and sure, like they get guard, but they're just not really doing much else. So unfortunately, very disappointing free-to-play unit. I can't really see them having any use anywhere. Maybe if the Namekians team becomes a real thing at some point soon, before characters like Slug and like Demon King, Piccolo, Easy A and stuff like that have aged out completely, then maybe they could be useful for something. But until then, I can't really imagine, after having done this showcase video, that I'm ever going to use this unit again. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.